Hello everyone, welcome back to Eclectic Alu. This is Alina from Argentina. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. This helps me a lot with spreading information about narcissism. So thank you so much for collaborating with me in that way. I wanted to talk about narcissism and covert narcissists more specifically as chameleons. Have you ever noticed how they change according to the situation they're in socially? A chameleon is a reptile that has the ability to change color according to the environment they're in, so that they avoid detection. And so that's the same thing narcissists do usually. Covert narcissists do this. The dark triad, the Machiavellians do that too. And so I went, you know me already by now, I think, that I go and do my research, and I found a couple of papers that were great. First, I'm going to talk about my experiences. I've seen covert narcissists change from being about to cry or even sobbing to neutral mode, just nothing, and changing the subject of the conversation whenever they are confronted with facts and with evidence that what they are crying about or what they are telling you, that they're suffering so much, being a victim, right? They present themselves as victims. And so when they are confronted with these facts that you're telling them, I mean, what you're saying is not true because da da da, they changed like, I don't know, 360? No, that would be the same place, like 180. And they are just changing the conversation, and their mood changes, their facial expressions changes. That's one way they are chameleons. In that way, it's like they are, and I was amazed by that, like, where does this come from? And then I found this paper. And one other thing that I want to say, they appear to be sort of like a wall. If you want to tell them something, like rationalize something, like let's reason as adults and let's talk about this thing that is very important for our relationship, or for, I don't know, if you have children in common or if you have a business going on, you can't reason with them because it's like talking to a wall. They just won't move from their position, and if you hit the nail on the head, like you nail it, let's say, or you say something that is triggering for them and that's exactly the truth, but they won't accept that, they will change subject, change everything. And so that's very interesting, I think. And this is regarding our warrior mentality, that we need to keep ourselves as a way of protecting ourselves from these predators and these personalities that are very damaging to other people. So in order for you to keep this warrior mentality, this is a good piece of information to keep in mind and know that this happens. And I found a paper, but this is a very sort of straight to the point paper, a forensic paper. It's called The Arrogant Chameleon Syndrome. This is great. Like they say, confronting the pathological person with facts and details that are contrary to his assertions, it's like nailing jello to a wall. And so it's like, it's exactly like that. And then they go on and say, and furthermore, this is Robert Hare, the one that's speaks now. Robert Hare is the leading expert on psychopathy, on research on psychopathy. And so, with evidence that contradicts his assertions, do not expect the pathological subject to display anxiety or emotional discomfort. Because they are chameleons, they will adapt and change to the present moment as they go, without any regard for change. So they do this constantly, even if these are people that have committed a crime, and they will confront them with the facts and they won't see any change. Like, they don't really feel that they're wrong ever, and they don't have this emotion. They have completely shut down their emotions. Like, they justify themselves so much that if you confront, people that are gaslighting you, they will just ignore that, change subject. They change completely the focus of the conversation, and it's ridiculous. You're left out thinking, wait a minute, we're talking about this, and this is what I'm saying is completely rational, and you're just diverting the attention to somewhere else. That's one way they're chameleons. And also in social situations, what I've noticed is they will adapt to whatever the vibe of the people around them, and they will adapt to their ways of speaking, of dressing. If you think about it, being a social chameleon is the basis of being able to manipulate others, right? If you're not aware of your environment in that sense, you won't be able to manipulate correctly, let's say, or your manipulation tactics won't be so effective. And so there's another research paper that I found here that says that they studied self-monitoring. And so they found that Machiavellianism and self-monitoring go hand in hand for that exact reason, for manipulation purposes. If they don't maneuver in a very chameleonic way, their social manipulation tactics will fail. So this is more of a tactical strategy that they apply, being a chameleon. Here's another aspect of this, and this is when they are mirroring you, especially during the initial cycle of abuse, when they meet you and they're mirroring you, and that's another aspect of being a chameleon. They turn into you basically in many ways, and you feel like they are your soulmates, and that's why they study you so, and you perceive on the other end that they are interested. You feel like they are interested in you, and they ask these questions, and they're listening to you, and so you naively and correctly, because normal people don't do this, don't abuse others, right? But so you start talking about yourself and all that, and they learn that, and they turn into that sort of, and then that's how chameleonically, if that's a word, as a chameleon would do, they turn into that they're taking the information from you, and so that's how they mirror you. And that's the idea, that you feel that you can't let go of this person because you think that they are this soulmate or person that really knows you, and it will be very hard for you to find somebody like that, because that person is fabricated and has been, through being a chameleon, changed, morphed into whatever it is that you wanted to see. One other thing that I've noticed is that, especially during the discard phase, I've had many clients telling me that this is a different person, like this is completely different person, and I don't understand how I'm looking at him and I see, or at her, and I see a different person. This is something that really is mind-blowing in a bad sense, in a bad way, because you see this person that is completely different to what you knew before. So that's another way they do that. They're chameleons in that way. They change like this, like in a split second, they change. And like their behaviors are different, and they start to sound different, and their facial expressions are different, especially during the discard phase. And that's another thing that's very interesting. I hope this will help you understand that these people are premeditating about this, and they do this as a tactic and as another manipulating tactic. And yes, that's another way they do this, and it's in research papers and it's there. So they're social chameleons, and if they go more to the spectrum, to the end of the spectrum of psychopathy, as you've seen in these forensic papers, they will just, it's amazing how they interview them and they present them with the facts, and they are just not there, like they're up there, like no, like changing subjects, no emotions, and it's amazing. So that's one more thing for us to keep running, like once you have the idea of how they move, how they proceed, all the manipulating tactics that they use, ways they go about doing things, that's how you then find them more easily among the crowds. And then that's how the red flags start to, letting you know that danger, danger. And that's also how you start rewarding yourself with self-trust, because you're now able to say, okay, yeah, this happened to me, but this is not my fault like I thought it was. No, it's because they've been playing you way before you would even think about this, right? So it's amazing. They are, like, how can I say this? They are so trained to do this, like trained from childhood to do this. So it's impossible for regular people to prevent this, right? So yes, that's all for today's video. I hope this was clear and practical and useful to you. Please leave a comment down below letting me know what you think about this, what you would like for me to make a video about, any questions. Thank you so much for subscribing as well. And this I'm so excited because this community is growing, and we have a Facebook group, and we talk over on Facebook, and you guys are messaging me there and sending me emails and looking for coaching online, and this is amazing. And I'm very excited that I'm finally being able to help you guys, and this is just amazing for me. Yeah, so thank you so much for subscribing, because that helps this channel grow and spread the message, and I'm very, very grateful for that. Take care, please do take care of yourselves. If you're interested in self-care tips, and I know it's hard for some of you, for most of us basically, to start the self-care routine. And so I give a lot of tips on how to do that every Friday on my IGTV. So if you go to my Instagram account, you'll find those under the highlight, the IGTV highlight, and those are all self-care tips from me to you. And I hope I can see you next week in my upcoming video. So see you soon. Bye-bye from Argentina.